So my name is Tracy, so you'll be able to know. Is that what you're saying?
Are we about ready?
All right. Benton County Commission now session. Roseanne Ward, chairperson.
Let us pray, please. Lord, our Heavenly Father, we thank you for this beautiful but maybe cool day. God, we thank you for your Son, Jesus Christ. We want everyone to remember the reason for the season, and that is for Jesus Christ, your Son. We want you to remember anybody that might be sick at this time, the families. I know Christmas is a really hard time. It affects a lot of families, and just be with those families and try to comfort them, Jesus. We thank you for your love, your kindness, your grace, and your mercy that is never ending. We ask that you lead, guide, and direct us tonight as we carry on the county's business, that it will be pleasing to you. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen.
Marty, will you lead the pledge?
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Roll call, please. Press your tablet if you're present, please.
He's trying to get to the
Stephen Stokes and Sonny Hall.
Okay, we do have a quorum. Next is the approval of the agenda. Before we have a motion, would it be your desire to add the special called meeting minutes to this agenda and approve both of them, or had you rather wait until next month and just have it on the agenda, two different meetings? It's whatever you want to do. If you do, we have to make an motion to approve, amend the agenda to add the special called meeting minutes to it.
Make a motion to amend it, to add the minutes to the special call meeting here.
I second that.
Well,
Come on, y'all need to catch up.
yeah, can you do it?
Move on.
Okay. All in favor of amending the agenda to add the special called meeting minutes to this agenda? Terry King. Takes just a few minutes. They have to adjust their screen. Yes, I got the date on here. November 20th. Did everyone get a copy of the special call meeting minutes? They were emailed to you. Okay, now if you're in favor of approving the agenda with those minutes on it, please vote.
This is for the second one. This is the vote for the
Amendment. You want a voice vote, okay? Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Does anyone oppose? None likewise, so pass. Now we're approving the agenda with those special call meeting minutes on here. Okay, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Anyone oppose? Next on the agenda is the citizens forum. Do we have any names signed up? Okay, then we'll move on. Next on the agenda, we have comments from our District Attorney, Mr. Neil Thompson, and our Public Defender, Taz Gardner. Would y'all come forth, please?
I guess Taz will make me start first. That's usually how we do it. Can y'all hear me? I need this. You're good.
Yeah.
All right, what we're asking the commission for is approval of a 1250 fund. And the way I explain it to everybody, the short way is either we can have criminals pay for this stuff or the voters and the taxpayers can pay for this stuff. I prefer criminals paying for everything we can get them to pay for. The way the 1250 fund works is every set of court costs on all felonies and misdemeanors that come through Benton County, they will be assessed a 1250 fund. 1250 will go to me, 1250 will go to Taz, and that'll be money that we can use here locally. Currently, the way it's set up is I have an economic crime fund that gets tacked on to court costs. So that economic crime fund goes into account and I can use that, but the state tells me where I can use it. As you can imagine, I can't use that money locally. It's for conferences are off and things that have to do with the state. The 1250 fund will replace that ECF. So the ECF will go away this spring. And then this 1250 fund will replace it and we can spend the money here locally. So the goal is to get the criminals to pay for it like we already have them paying for it. And then we can use that money right here at home. Y'all have any questions for me before I let Taz do the second part?
Can I get any of the fund?
I'll leave that to Taz.
That's always my part. I get to tell you the good news. You get 5%. I'm not going to mislead you and tell you that's a windfall because it's not going to be a windfall for me or Neil in Benton County or in Henry County or in Carroll County. But luckily we can pull the 5 counties together and it will add up for us. But like I've told the other counties, if it's $3,000, it's $3,000 that Benton County didn't have. And it didn't cost the taxpayers a dime. So there's a lot of things we can do with this money, and like Neil said, the main thing is we can spend it in the district, we can spend it in Benton County, and it's ours to do with what we want to do with. One goal I have is to maybe save mine. Obviously, we got to it's going to take some time to see. I think we've had Henry County that we started with, and we've got 1 check for a month there, and it's not significant, but over time it will be. My goal would be to maybe hire a social worker in my office. I only have 1 office, and it is in Benton County, right across from Briarwood. Our office has been here, I guess, since 1987, I guess. So that would be my goal, is to add staff in Benton County, and maybe an employee from Benton County would be my goal with it. But we're just asking for y'all to pass this, and any questions, let us know.
The 5%, would that be the clerk's fee for collecting
Yes.
the tax? It would go into the clerk's fee?
Yeah.
5%, okay.
And the other 4 counties have already passed. The way it's fallen, we started with the highest population, so we started in Henry. And then everybody wants to have their commission meetings on the same night, so it's fallen where this is our last one.
General Thompson, what are your plans for your office?
It depends on how much money I get. Right now, I'll tell you, the first month in Henry County was $400, which doesn't sound like much money, but we were thrilled because that means that money was assessed in that month and it was actually paid that month. So if you have somebody that has a year to pay it off, I didn't expect to see maybe $100. So a lot of what I want to see some of ours goes for. Henry County, for instance, we do some stuff in the schools. We do a class about FAPES and do some things like that. So I want to see some more of the education be able to spread through the district. I would love to be able to add another investigator on, kind of like Taz wants to hire another social worker. I want to hire another criminal investigator. But we're talking at least 2 years down the road before we know if that money's going to be state revenue. So that would be my number 1 goal, to get another criminal investigator. Because I have 1 criminal investigator now. He runs 5 counties. You can ask law enforcement, anytime something gets their death in the jail, guess who gets called? My investigator. He goes through.
Any other questions for either one? Okay, I don't see any questions, so thank you very much for coming and explaining. I'm going to go right back to the citizens forum. The clerk received a letter from a lady, Miss Cornelius, and I just got it today. And she had questions about different resolutions, but as I went over the letter, there's like 17 questions, and some of them would need to talk to someone with budget, that she wants the fund balances of different accounts and different things. She wants to know something from the sheriff and from the airport. So, she was not on the agenda and she's not here, so we're not going to go over those 17 questions. Maybe next month, if she doesn't get her answers before next month, maybe she can come next month and we can help her out with that. Number 4 is the commissioner's forum. Do we have a commissioner that wants to speak?
Madam Chair.
Yes. Commissioner Murphy, you're recognized.
I've got concerns about the airport. Tonight, we're going to hear, I think, 3 resolutions, consider 3 resolutions about the airport. Not necessarily just picking on the airport, but 2 of those resolutions are not very clear. They're not very transparent about what they're for. And I wish that when we have resolutions, we can get a little more information about them. You know, a maintenance grant just covers a lot of stuff. So that's one point I wanted to make. But what I'm most concerned about is Resolution 21. And it's asking for $50,000 to fund the fuel fund at the airport. This would be the wholesale cost of buying fuel that we resell to people that need to fuel airplanes. In the 2025-26 fiscal budget, we added an airport line item. The gasoline was funded at $60,000. The airport's fuel sales were quite a bit more than that over the past couple of years. Since Ms. Haslam has taken over, the fuel sales have increased quite a bit, to her credit. And we intentionally didn't fund the entire amount she needed because we were going to be asking taxpayers to fund that. It would cost us a couple of pennies on the tax rate to be able to do that. And I never could get my head wrapped around that. I've been on a budget. This coming year will be my 3rd time around to help draft a budget, and I couldn't really figure that out. And I know that it's a complicated place to put it, and I know the auditors comptroller's office doesn't let us put it in the right way, but what I've come to understand is the reason that we don't have a place to put it is we don't make any money. Now, in business, if you go buy something, wholesale cost of $50,000, and then you sell that $50,000 worth of goods, you should, at the end of the day, if you're a pretty good business person, you should make a little money. And that's not happening at our airport. And the reason why is we're not marking up our gas enough. Now, the airport director will tell us that we add 80 cents a gallon to the wholesale cost. And when you hear that, it's pretty good, but you really got to start putting numbers to it and thinking about what all that 80 cents includes. And right off the bat, we start losing money. Of that 80 cents, we got to pay, for every dollar of fuel sales that we have at the airport, we pay 4.5% to the Department of Revenue, sales tax. Now, there's a bunch of other taxes and everything that's included in fuel, but those are included in the wholesale cost that we pay our vendor, Titan Fuel. So Rita was kind enough, the airport director, to give me some information. And tonight I'm going to talk about just the jet fuel sales, not avgas. I didn't get a lot of information about that, so I'm not going to pass on to talk about it. But from my information, from July until November, for jet fuel sales, we had about a little over $40,000 in sales. Our retail prices in July, we sold jet fuel for $3.51 a gallon, and then for every month on past that, $3.53 a gallon, and then in November, $3.50 a gallon. Now, we paid, the average cost was about $2.80 a gallon. So we're a little bit behind the 8 ball there. When we look at our fuel sales, we start in the hole every month, $1,000 in the hole, because we run a truck. to pump the fuel into airplanes, because airplanes can't get close enough to the fuel tank. And so we're $1,000 there, and the total cost of us selling fuel, we sold about $40,000 worth of jet fuel in these 5 months. Now keep in mind, one of those months we were closed for three weeks, so we didn't sell much, but we sold about $40,000 in jet fuel. It cost us, including the sales tax and the cost to rent the truck, just shy of $39,000 to do that. So being very generous with my numbers, in 5 months, we've made a profit of just about $2,000. Now, my calculations didn't include the cost of what it costs to have labor to pump that fuel into airplanes. And Madam Chairman, I know my time's up. If you give me 30 more seconds, I'll shed a little more light on that.
Okay.
We,
Go ahead.
the airport director, we've heard time and again, our fuel sales have gone up. We've sold so many thousand gallons. We've increased over this time last year and everything. And you might ask, why is that? Well, I can tell you, it's not because we have the cleanest bathrooms, and it's not because that we are on the way, and it's not because Benton County has the greatest restaurants, which they do. The reason is we're selling jet fuel for $3.66 a gallon. Now that's what's on advertised price right now. We're the cheapest within 50 miles. In Henry County, they get $4.50 a gallon, same fuel. In Humphreys County, they're getting $4.32 a gallon. Over to Huntington, which seems to be our closest competitor, they're getting $3.89. But at Clarksville, they're paying $5.58 a gallon for jet fuel that we're selling for $3.66. I would like to, when this resolution comes to be considered, I would like for us to consider tabling that. I would like for us to have a little more information from the airport board. I don't know who sets the fuel price. I don't know who decides 80 cents goes in the cost. But 80 cents is not enough. And we need to come to an agreement. And I personally think this commission ought to approve what the markup is on fuel month to month. And one thing I should tell you about this 366, that can change. We can update that and we can change it just like that. And we may be selling a lot of it, but we're not making any money doing it. And I don't think the citizens of this county ought to subsidize fuel for airplanes. If you own an airplane, you ought to be able to pay about what it costs to put it in there. Thank you, Madam Chairman, for the extra time.
Thank you. Any other commissioner? Okay, we'll move on to number 5. Oh, I'm sorry, I didn't see.
Well, you're good at that on me, ain't you? First thing I'd like to do is just wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year's. Of course, this will be the last scheduled meeting before the new year kicks off. But what I want to remind everybody of is this is an upcoming election year. Every one of these seats is in here is up for grabs. For each district, if you're a registered voter and you live in one of our districts and you don't feel that we're doing a good job, then this is your opportunity to change that. And I'd like to let you know how that works. At the election board, or election building down here with Beasley, on December the 22nd, you'll be able to pick your papers up. And you got to be a registered voter in that district. And you'll be able to pick them papers up and you'll get 25, 30 signatures, and that'll put you in the hunt to do this. And you'll have the February the 19th until noon o'clock to noon to do that. Now, I may be cutting my own throat, but if we're not supporting you in your district like we ought to be doing, then it's your opportunity to change that. I mean, we are Benton County. Everybody ought to have a shot at this. I think some of the boards we shouldn't be reelected to and things of that nature. But you can't do much with it sitting back there, except to complain to you commissioners, and that's like me or Keith Arnold or Marty up in the first, or down in the first district, all the way to Jerry, Terry, and Mr. Murphy in the 6th district. I hope I'm doing a good job for the 4th district. I hope everyone in here is doing the right thing for their districts and the right thing for Benton County. But this is your opportunity if you think you can provide a little more and your community and your district feels that you can do a good job for them. These next 2 months is your time to do that. And that's, I have one more thing. I was going to ask Phil, we get impact money from TVA. On that TVA impact money, last year we put it in debt service. This year we've got it in debt service again on line number 81 in the budget. And it says for a loan. I'm sitting here looking for the paperwork, but it said it's for a 2024 loan.
That would have been what it was intended for. That's what we used to pay off the First Bank building last year. And it may have just carried over that language into the new budget, but that would be what that was for.
Well, I got a hold, or I didn't get a hold of, Rocky Preston last year got into looking into the debt service money and put money like this impact money. And it's up to the commission to where to put this impact money. Like this year, we've got another $900,000 and we put in debt service again. So you don't know no reason. Could we not put that in the 101 general fund? For the simple reason it takes 2/3. I mean, and you've told me the way that works around there. But in all sense, in my mind, it feels better if we at least think we got 2/3 vote to spend money. Just like you said, it used last year to pay for the First Bank. Is that right? Something of that nature. So we need to, and we worked around the 2/3 vote because it's in debt service. So what?
Work around the 2/3.
We worked around it. In my eyes, we did.
Mr. Fowler, please let him speak.
Well, whose time's up there?
It's your time, but you're asking him questions, and when he tries to answer you, you're mumbling over him, okay?
Scott, stop the clock while he's talking, please. I'm just kidding.
It's fine. Go ahead.
I haven't seen where the money's come in, but if money came in this year the same way, it comes in through electronic fund transfer. And I'm sure that the trustee's office receipted it in to the same probably line item that it was last year. That money was put there because the auditor said that was where to put it last
Well, I
year.
got a letter from the main auditor that says that the commission can put that money anywhere.
Well, there's a little problem with that, and that any funds that come in have to be receipted within 72 hours. You cannot get the commission together to vote where to put it in 72 hours.
Can we not change it? We wouldn't put it in 101.
Not right now, you can't. We can be during budget time.
So now you're saying this 900,000 we just got in again from the debt service is going to be in the, 900,000 we just got in from impact money from TVA is going in debt service. So we.
It's evidently already, from what you said, it's already gone into it. So it's there, but at budget time, it can be used for other things.
Okay, that's fine, but debt service usually is a different vote. But can we not, I talked with Beverly and, we can determine, and she'd be more welcome to put it wherever we think it needs to go. And if it go in general fund, then we can move it out into debt service.
Well, where it is now at the budget time, it can be moved to wherever it needs to be also.
Yeah, the only thing I'm pushing at is, I think our money will go in the general fund where it takes 2/3, at least in my mind, it takes 2/3 of this people to vote for it, for your commission. And that's what I'm looking at.
If you're doing it at budget time, it does not take 2/3. If you're appropriating money after the budget has been passed, it does take 2/3 to appropriate money.
We get right back to the first thing. I yield forward, we're good.
I would like to say, Dwayne, when you mentioned that the commissioners to pick up their papers to run for office in December, that's not the month. It's May. It's either March or May. That's for the mayor. There's certain elections. The papers are picked up for those elections at different times of the first of the year.
Rocky? I just walked down, I just went down there today
were you not checking on mayor?
Yeah, it's all.
Unless they've changed it, it's never been December, never. But we can all check on that and find out.
Everybody check.
Okay, yeah.
If you feel you wanna sit up there and do this and you've got a little room on your blood pressure medicine, give this a shot.
Next on the agenda is number 5. County mayor wants to,
First of all, I'd like to have Rita to come up and explain a little bit about the fuel cells. I will say this, I was in the gas station business in the first part of my career for 7 years. We made 3 cents a gallon. And to try to run a business on 3 cents a gallon, I understand what you're saying, that there's not much margin there. 80 cents a gallon dumbfounded me. It kind of floored me when I found out that's how much we were making at the airport on a gallon of fuel. But not only are we offering the fuel and trying to bring more people in here, but we're making the same price per gallon as every other county. It depends on your strategic time that you buy the fuel. You buy it when it's low and your prices are lower, so you do pull in people that are in transit to buy fuel. You know what I'm saying? But 80 cents a gallon, if you start trying to make more profit than that, you're just going to put us out of business out there. That's just my opinion. But I just wanted to say, we made and this was in 1985 to 1992 when I was in the gas station business, but 3 cents a gallon is what we made. And that's what most of these gas stations out here are making it on. I know we have a lot more overhead, but as long as we're not losing money, as long as we're making money on it, I think it's great service to offer for all these people that are flying and your industries that are coming in here. It just helps all the way around. But I think Ms. Haslam could come and explain that a lot better than I can if she wants to now, or if she wants to wait until these resolutions come up. Could we give her time when the resolutions come up?
yeah. Rita, if you had rather wait until the resolutions come up, we'll give you time then, or now, it doesn't matter. Well,
She'll wait. That, as long as we can do that, that'll be great. But I wanted to offer her that time.
okay.
And I would also like to offer Mr. Mark Florence with the school, the director of schools, some time. He's got just a couple of things he wants to explain.
Good evening. First of all, Merry Christmas and Happy New Year, and thank you on behalf of the Board of Education and our students for the support you give us. We really appreciate it. This is not the reason I'm here, but I do want to bring to your attention January 13th at the Budget Committee, we're going to have representatives from Lashley Rich and the Tennessee Municipal Bond Company. The school board's been looking at a new elementary school for 6-7 years, and obviously it's a long process, but we've had them come 2 or 3 times. So I went to the Budget Committee this month, and they're going to come on January 13th and just preliminary what that would involve and things like that. So I would like for you, if you have an opportunity to come to the Budget Committee that night, obviously we could sit here and talk about that. That's a huge process and long, but I did want to bring that to your attention. But the reason I'm really here is, unfortunately, last week we lost Mr. Tim Hite that served on the school board for 37 years. Not only was Tim a great public service, but he was a friend. He loved our students, he loved our school system, and all you had to do is ask him, and he was pretty adamant about that. So please keep Virginia and Tim's family in your prayers. But with that said, moving forward, at the January meeting, it'll be your responsibility to appoint a school board member from the 3rd District. I have not had anybody contact me. Obviously, it's your job to appoint that person. They would be appointed through August, and then whoever's interested in running would need to check with Mr. Beasley, and then they would run for that 2 years of that vacancy. So I would encourage you, as I've told the school board, if you have someone that's interested, is to contact me. We would love to put them on the school board agenda in January and have them speak to the board. But in reality, it's this governing body's job to appoint that person. So I just wanted to bring that to your attention, and please keep Mr. Hite's family in your prayers. As a special guy, Mr. Arnold served on the school board with him, and it's a huge loss for our community. So any questions about that? thank you for giving me the time here.
Mark, I have a
Yes.
question. What's the date of the school board meeting?
It is January the 5th.
Okay, so it would be before our commission meeting?
Yes, yes.
Because it-
And we've had success with that. Unfortunately, in my tenure, in the last 2.5 years, we've lost 3 school board members. And I think it's important for them to come, talk to the school board. But as I said, it's this governing body's responsibility to appoint that person.
Okay, I was going to announce that the seat is vacant and that anyone interested come to the January meeting.
Yes.
So I wanted to make sure that they met with you before
Right.
our meeting.
They don't have to, but I think it's worked well in the past.
Okay,
Okay,
thank you.
thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Florence.
Thank you.
Number 6 is the approval of the minutes. I need a motion and a second to approve the minutes. Any questions? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Number 7 is report of the public utility. A motion and a second, please. We have a motion by Arnold and a second by Paulin. All in favor, say aye. Anyone opposed? Number 8 is resolution 1. Is a resolution by Mayor Ward to authorize a $12.50 charge by the clerk of every court in Benton County having jurisdiction of state misdemeanors and felonies for the purpose authorized and set out in TCA 40-3-106 for the district attorney. Motion, we have a motion by Commissioner Melton, a second by Commissioner Arnold. Are there any questions? This is what the district attorney spoke to us about a few minutes ago. Okay, if there are none, everyone please vote. Anyone wish to change your vote? 15 yes, 1 no. Okay. Resolution passes. Number 9 is resolution 2. It's a resolution by Mayor Mark Ward to authorize a $12.50 charge for the clerk of every court in Benton County having jurisdiction of state misdemeanors and felonies for the purpose authorized and set out in TCA 40-14-210 for the public defender. Any questions? Okay, there are none, so everyone please vote on the board, please. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 15 yes, 1 no. Okay. Number 10 on your agenda is resolution 3. It's a resolution by the Benton County Director of Schools, Mark Florence, to budget funds in the amount of $8,000 received from the Second Harvest Food Grant to the school budget. I have a motion by Melton and a second by King. Any questions? Mr. King? Do you have a question, Mr. King?
No.
Okay. All right. Anyone? Okay. There are none, so please vote. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carried, 16 yes. Number 11 is resolution 4. It's a resolution by Benton County Schools Director of Schools, Mark Florence, to budget funds in the amount of $38,728.57 received from insurance recovery to the school budget. We have a motion by Arnold and a second by Melton. Any questions? Okay. There are none, so everyone please vote. Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carried, 16 yes. Number 13, no, number 12 is resolution 5. It's by Benton County Sheriff Ken Christopher to budget funds in the amount of $3,000 received from a State of Tennessee cost-sharing grant to a line item for the sheriff's budget for proper expenditure. Have a motion by Price and a second by Bain.
Need a amendment.
We need, do you have a copy of the amendment, everyone? Okay, to amend this, we need a motion and a second, please.
Motion.
Second.
Okay. Melton and King. I've got one. I do. Somewhere. Okay. The only thing that's changing is in the third paragraph. It had a zero left off of it. It's supposed to be $3,000. Okay, so are y'all ready to vote on the amendment? For the amendment, yeah. Everyone for the amendment, vote please. Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carries for the amendment. Okay, now we will vote on this resolution as we just amended it. Any questions about how we amended it? Okay? There are none, so please vote. That's mine. Can't turn it off.
No, that was we didn't we had it.
Okay, so now we're ready to vote on that resolution as it was made. Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carries as amended, 16 yes. Number 13 is Resolution 6, which is a resolution by Benton County Legislative Body to update the current Budget Private Act of 1939, Chapter 541. Did I miss one? Okay. We'll go back to number 13, which is 6. It's a resolution by the sheriff requesting a budget amendment to properly fund a newly hired investigator position. We have a motion by Bain and a second by Price. Any questions? Okay, Commissioner Melton.
This resolution was one that we committed to the sheriff if he could had a situation where he had a certified officer, that we would support that and he could hire one and we would appropriate funds for that. As it turns out, the sheriff felt like he had enough funds in his account without having to have the appropriation. We simply need to do a movement from one line item to another. And we need to follow through on what we said we would do.
I think what Mr. Melton's saying is this is not new money. This is money that's already in the sheriff's budget. He just moving it from deputies line item to investigators to continue that position.
Any questions?
I have a question,
Yeah,
Madam
Commissioner
Chairman.
Price.
I just want to ensure that that agreement is still intact, it's moving money from one line item to another. The agreement is still in place, is that correct?
I don't see why it would not be.
Thank you.
Any others?
So it leaves
So we'll lose the deputy slot,
No.
new budget or what?
Well, and there's no way to know until we get to budget time what that situation will be. We just have to, see what it is when budget time.
Investigator in the budget.
It's possible that this position could be continued, depends on, I can't tell you what number of positions he's gonna have at that time. And he can't tell you that either for sure.
It'll be a lot for like, what, 13?
There's 14, this would be a 15th position. But this is what we committed to at that time. Now, that didn't mean it continued always after that. It would be considered a temporary position until we get to budget time and we see what the budget situation is and what the needs are. It could be continued or not.
Any others? Okay, there are none, so please vote on this resolution.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Okay, now we're at number 14, resolution 7. By the Benton County Legislative Body to update the current budget private act of 1939, chapter 541. I'd like to say thank you to the committee that worked on this, and Mr. Murphy was the chairman, and I think Mr. King, he did a lot of work on it. So I'd like to say thank y'all for that. Any questions for any of those on the committee? Or about these changes? Okay, there are none, so everyone please vote.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Number 15 is resolution 8. It's by the Benton County Legislative Body to urge the General Assembly to enact and update the current budget private act of 1939, chapter 541. So this is just so that we send this to the General Assembly and they approve what changes have been made to it. We have a motion by Commissioner Murphy and a second by Commissioner Burke. Any questions? There are none, so please vote.
Anyone wish to change their vote? 16 yes.
Number 16 is resolution 9. It's by Mayor Ward to budget funds in the amount of $4,348.84 received from miscellaneous refunds to a payroll line item. Have a motion, please, and a second. Have a motion by Bain and a second by King. Okay, there are no questions, so please vote.
Mr. Mayor, this is going to a payroll line item. It just,
This came from a payroll line item and it's being put back in the same line item. It was overpayment to someone who had quit, and she brought the check back and it's just being put back in the right line item.
Okay. I see no other questions, so everyone please vote.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Number 16. We're on number 17. Is a resolution by Mayor Mark Ward to allow the Benton County trustee to round property taxes and interest. We have a motion by Commissioner King and a second by Murphy. Does anyone have any questions that they might want to ask our trustee Beverly here tonight? Mr. Fowler?
Is she here?
Yes, she's here.
Me and her talked her, I didn't know she was here, she'll probably explain it to you.
Okay, any questions?
May I say something?
Yes.
In the committee meetings, we discussed this, and the property taxes are already being rounded. I don't know if it would just be redundant to leave that in there. I don't see a problem leaving that in there, since we're already doing that, but the interest is not. Beverly could give more insight on that if y'all would like for her to talk about it. But I don't think it needs to be amended to take that out. It's just something that we're already doing. Yeah, that's up to y'all.
It's rounded up and down, right, Beverly?
Years down.
Yeah. It pretty well balances out, correct?
Okay, any other questions for Beverly? Okay, there are none, so please vote.
Anyone with a change their vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Number 18 is Resolution 11. It's a resolution by the mayor to amend Resolution 2025-1117-14 as passed by the Benton County Commission in regular session on November the 17th of 2025 to correct a typographical error regarding the Clerk and Master's copier printer scanner system. We have a motion, please. We have a motion by Melton and a second by Bain. Is there any questions about this? It puts it in the correct line item, is it?
You know, what happened last month is the line item was, the last 3 digits was off, and it was for data processing. And Gene let me know real fast that it's gotta be in 330 lease payment since it's a lease, so we're correcting it.
Any questions? There are none, so everyone please vote.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Number 19, which is Resolution 12, by Mayor Ward to budget funds in the amount of $600 received from donations to proper line items for expenditure in the animal shelter's budget. Have a motion by Arnold and a second by Bain.
We need to amend.
Okay. The number 11,629.27, that's not correct. So we need, you have an amendment, you should have. So we need to amend that amount to $600. So I need a motion to amend.
Motion.
Motion by, and a second by Nunnery. Okay. If you're for the amendment, everyone please vote. If you are or if you're not.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Yeah, 16 yes.
Okay, now we will vote on the resolution as we just amended it to $600. Okay, everyone please vote.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Amended. Motion carries 16 yes.
Number 20 is Resolution 13. It's by Mayor Ward to budget funds in the received from TDEC ARPA grant to proper line items for expenditure to Harbortown Utility and Community Development Partners. I have a motion by Price and a second by Holland. Any questions? Okay, everyone please vote if you're for or against.
Anyone wish to change their vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Number 20, which is Resolution 13 and Resolution 14. It's a resolution by Mayor Ward to appropriate and budget funds to proper line items for expenditure to Harbortown Utility and Community Development Partners. I have a motion by Price and a second by Holland. Any questions? I see none, so everyone please vote if you're for or against.
It needs an amendment. That needs an amendment. In the upper part, it says $11,629.27, but the total amount is only $7,165.73.
Okay.
So the upper part needs to be changed to match.
Madam
Is that-
Chairman, if we read that very carefully, we originally thought that needed an amendment, but if you read it very carefully, the wording is, that's referring to the amount of the ARPA funds, not the amount of the resolution.
Yeah, this is a little complicated because it's, for both of these resolutions, but that's what we received. The first part,
Okay, you're saying that the 11,000 was received for both of the resolutions.
and this is our
The one we
portion.
just passed
We're
and this
appropriating our portion in this one, where we're just spending, what we received in the first resolution. But this is new money we're appropriating because it's our share.
Does everyone understand that? If you don't, raise your hand. Okay, I think everyone understands, so we're not making an amendment. Did somebody make a motion? Okay. Okay, so we're not amending, is it? Correct, Mr. Melton? It is?
If that's the correct amount for both resolutions, I don't think they would need an amendment.
Okay.
Let me explain one thing. In your first amendment that y'all just passed, we received the 11,629.27, and all of it was expended in this, but because it's part of this ARPA money, the 11,629.27, that whereas we're in receipt of those funds and we received them from the TDOT ARPA grant, but our portion is the $7,165.73.
The resolution is only for our portion.
This is where we're appropriating our portion and putting it into those same line items to finish that payment. Well, this is something that's been going on for about 5 years. This is the next to the last payment. The contractors are all been really needing this money because we can't finish the next payment, which is next month. We should have that ready for you, but we can't finish these and close these out until this payment is received and they have the canceled checks to turn in to the state. But they're finished with their project. There's about 350,000 left, so they're really looking forward to getting that next month. But we have a local share is all this resolution is to appropriate.
Okay, so is everyone ready to vote? Is it ready to vote? Okay, everyone please vote.
Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carried, 16 yes.
Resolution 15 is number 23 on your agenda. It's a resolution by Mayor Ward to appropriate and budget funds in the amount of $5,250 to an appropriate expenditure line to pay the county commission voting software and permission to enter into related agreements. This is for the software that we're using up here, and I'm going to let Scott explain.
This resolution here is for our voting software that we're using right now. We got it on a COVID grant back years ago. Well, it's now time to do a big bill. So if you all like our voting system and want to use it, then we have to pay the resolution there, or go back and look at it. It's up to you guys. But either way, I do need your tablets by the end of this meeting, because we're going to put a new license on it, or we need to take it on.
He's going to update them if we vote for this. Any questions?
Yeah, I have
Yes.
just a question. Now, this is used for, the minutes also, is that correct?
She still has to go in and type.
Okay. So, but
When we first got it, that was my understanding. I think all of us, when we first got it, that's what it was gonna do. We would save that, but she still has to go in and type.
did anybody read this contract? 18 pages? They're not responsible for anything. And they can use our stuff any way they want to.
That's literally every contract under this law.
Well, I'm just making a statement, I'm just saying. That's all I got to think of.
When you do the minutes, do you, does anything come off of what has put in the computer tonight though? Do you get any information from what?
Everything.
Yeah, okay.
Everything comes out, what we do.
Yeah.
I just want to say, we need a system that works. We've had nothing but issues. I don't
think it's
That's all I'm gonna say. I don't know what it is, but something needs to be fixed.
The internet.
Maybe if it is the software, maybe that's what we're fixing to fix. I hope.
I might be popping up, but are you present? And then it will go away.
I assure you, we don't want to go back to the book and paper voting.
I don't think it'll help my iPad.
Help me.
Okay, anyone else? Okay, it's time to vote. If you're for or against, please vote.
Anyone wish to change your vote? 10 yes, 6 no.
It's just simple. Okay, so that means next month, the voting boards will not be up. You won't have tablets. We'll be going back to, the way it used to be a long time ago. Okay, we'll move on. Resolution 16 is a resolution by Commissioners Arnold and Murphy to appropriate and budget funds in the amount of $6,000 to fund an AI technology subscription for the use of the Benton County Chamber of Commerce. Motion by Melton and second by Burke. I know we've heard a lot about this. Do we have any discussion?
The Tennessee River Resort District Board has committed to funding 50% of it. And at this time, I would like to ask Laura Matlock to come and explain what this will do and not do.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank y'all so much. I appreciate the time. I have some information that I can pass out to you if anybody is interested in all my paperwork. If not, I will just kind of go over what this is. As y'all know, I've been before you several times about tourism. Tourism is very important to me, as when I first started at the Chamber, the state of Tennessee designated the Chamber as the DMO, Designated Marketing Organization for Tourism in Benton County. So that has been very dear to my heart. And for your information on our 2024 Benton County Economic Impact of Tourism, we had a 7.07 year-over-year increase in 2024. So that was even before we launched our tourism website. So we're hoping next year's numbers will be even better than that. But that's the first increase that we had shown in tourism dollars since I had been at the Chamber. So I was very excited about that. The savings to each of the households in Benton County is $213 in state and local taxes. So every time we increase tourism revenue, it increases the savings on taxes to each Benton County home. So that's one of the reasons why tourism is so important to me. The only tourism dollars we receive is through TRRD funding. So when this come through the office, I started investigating and informing myself on how to make better and informed decisions about tourism. And through talks with other DMOs, both large and small DMOs, tourism conferences, I found out that this Placer AI software is what these people use to attract and to validate what they do through tourism. As you all know, when you fund, when you make an investment, you expect a return on your ROI. So how do we know what kind of return we are receiving on things that we fund through TRRD? Only way we know that is through what that person comes back and tell us their event done. With Placer AI technology, this will better inform the TRRD board on how they spend their money. It will give them strategic numbers on what the event did after the event is done. I can go into this software and tell you how many people attended that event, how many out-of-town visitors we had, how many in-town visitors we had, where they come from, what route they took to get there, and where they went when they left the event, and did they spend the night. Now, I can't tell you the amount of dollars that they spent unless they use a credit card. I can't tell you as far as cash, especially like with Bargain Highway. But this software is not only important to tourism, but if we were doing retail recruitment in this county, it's also a great asset for retail recruitment. This is how our neighboring counties are landing 10 box store developments. This is how they're landing their Zaxby, Starbucks, and Seven Brews in their counties, is through this data, what this data can show to a developer. This is mobile device data. It's anonymized, so it doesn't tell me that Mr. Keith Arnold was at the Big Sandy Spring Festival. But it does tell me that he was a in-county visitor there. But it's anonymized. It does not give me your name, address, phone number, anything like that. It is privacy compliant, and it's analytics that help communities better understand visitor behavior, economic activity, and movement patterns. For tourism, it identifies where visitors are coming from, allowing tourism marketers to better strategically develop their advertising dollars. It measures the impact of events, festivals, and attractions. It also, like I said, it tells you how long that person is in the county, what route they took to get here, and stuff like that is good for advertising, like for the Old Time Bluegrass Fiddlers Jamboree. If we know that most of the visitors to that jamboree are coming from a certain area, then maybe we need to target a billboard at a different area to attract more from a different side. It's also great for grant writing, recruitment, and economic development and retail recruitment. And I know you're probably asking, why am I the one up here requesting this? I went before TRRD board, and like I said, I've done a lot of research on this, and this is what everyone is using, and I feel like it will be able to help them make better informed decisions on where they're spending that tourism dollars. And like I said, that is the tourism money that the county is receiving, and I want to see that grow and become bigger. I want to see the TRRD get more of a return on their investment, and I believe with this subscription they can. When I first started investigating this subscription, it was going to cost $24,000 a year, And so I just kind of dropped the ball. I was like, well, there's no way that we're gonna, I thought that was ridiculous. Like I said, after I've seen our neighboring county, Henry County, starting to get these box stores and things, and I know they use this Placer AI data, I started investigating again and going a different route, not through tourism, but if I go through the chamber, because we are a rural community and the at-risk county, and our chamber is a small number, we can receive it at a discounted rate, which is $12,000 for a yearly subscription. And the TRRD has offered to pay half of this, and their suggestion was to come before the county and ask for the other half of it. I do know that it will go up in 2026 to $15,000 for a yearly subscription. But if I can help and answer any questions, I'd be glad to.
So this is half of the cost?
This is half of the cost, yes, sir.
Okay, does the city pay towards it?
No, sir. They have not been asked.
Okay.
No.
Would they benefit also?
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyone who, the problem is you've got to have somebody to work it.
I just asked a question if they wouldn't pay for it.
If they would pay part of it, I haven't asked them to. The TRRD suggested that I come before the county, so that's what I did. Yes.
Did you say something about the city, Frank?
Mm-hmm.
Well, we talked about economics. Could the industrial board help with a little bit of it too, or not, or bring it on down?
We did approach the industrial board, and I think they're more targeted toward industry instead of retail recruitment. They didn't feel at this time this was something that they wanted
all
to.
that property up next to the interstate, which would be a great thing for retail.
Mhm.
Denny's, IHOP, I mean, they've asked about it for 1.9 before, nobody checked into that. So things of that nature, I just thought that would be a good thing for them too. And I understand the city part of it, I mean, they could benefit from it too. But
Everyone could benefit from it if we had somebody working retail recruitment.
I'm just trying to get the taxpayers a little bit lower side.
I understand. Like I said, what I can use this for in my office is for tourism. That's why I went before the TRRD board. And like I said, they agreed to do half of it, and their reference was to go before the county. Mr. Murphy, if you would like to.
If I may, we did express other stakeholders to help us with this, and we've had some resistance, but I think our board is hopeful that if we invest in this and we prove that it has been an asset to us, then in the next year, we continue on subscription, that they will want to share in that cost and gather that information. Lori is going to be the only person that's able to access this information. And she's going to be providing that information to the county and to the TRRD board. But these other folks that want it, it's a pay-to-play kind of thing with our board and certainly me. So I would urge us to, this is just a small percentage of what this thing is really worth. And
Absolutely.
Lori's done a tremendous job and does a tremendous job every day, and this tool will help her do even better. So I'm hopeful that next year everybody's going to see how good it is, and our part will go down drastically.
And it's a 1 year.
It's only a 1 year, that's correct. One way that the county can benefit from this is your ballparks, your sportsplex. I know you're going, or hopefully will be applying more money out there. And when they start having tournaments out there and events out there, at anyone's request on this commission, I can pull that up and I can tell you how many people were there, how many out-of-town guests were there, where they went. Did they go to Walmart and to down home and to Country and Western to eat? You know, where did they spend their dollars in the community?
And one other thing I would add is this is not, we're not gonna start tracking people all of a sudden. This information is already there. This is just a way to get it. They're already tracking. They have got book-hoos of your information. They're just charging us to get it. So,
Like I said, it is anonymous. It does not tell me individual names of people. But it can tell me how many people attended the spring festival that drove a Chevrolet. And if I was a Chevrolet dealer, then I would want to know that.
Might get them to buy in.
It can also very much benefit the businesses in our community. I can tell them traffic flows, traffic counts, where your customers are coming from.
Are those businesses mostly in the city?
They don't have to be within the city. They can be in the county or anywhere, but the majority of our businesses are in the city, yes, sir.
That's what we're
Yes,
saying.
sir.
I guess we think
Yeah.
the city ought to be kicking in on this too, the taxpayers.
I understand. Like I said, I have not approached the city. I approached the TRRD and the TRRD sent me here
How long do you have to, you gotta do this pretty quick.
to get it at 12,000. It goes up to 15 in January. Yes, sir.
Looking at it, I've done some research on it, and my understanding is it can't tell the difference between me and somebody coming through town. If I'm sitting at an event and somebody drives within, say, the road where I'm at, it can't differentiate. It claims two people went there when only one was really there. So there are some drawbacks to it.
I haven't seen that. The thing that it can't differentiate, if I tell you that 42 people from out of town went into your business today, it can't tell me if one of those wasn't the UPS guy.
Yeah. So there are some
But
quirks to it.
there are,
I think it's a great system.
but it can tell me if you are local to Benton County or if you're from out of town.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's through a cell phone, right? Oh, that's
Yes,
through a
it's,
phone.
it's through cell phone analytics and app data. Placer AI has more of the apps than any of the cell phone data tracking systems out there. It has it has acquired that privacy compliant from the apps, from more apps than any of them out there. And one of them is mainly the, what is it that you use to track your kids?
360.
Yeah, 360. My kids don't allow me to track them anymore. They're too old.
May I ask Lori a question?
Yes, ma'am.
Have you talked to the Director of Tourism in Humphreys County?
Yes. We're working on a joint kayaking thing for the summer.
Well, the way I understand it, he says that he's getting his AI free from the State Department of Tourism. How can he get it free and we can't get it free?
He can pull it twice a year just like I can. He can't pull it for every event. He does have Zartico, which I also have, but it is not the in-depth technology that Placer AI is. The state of Tennessee does have Placer AI, and I can pull 2 events a year. And I have the report that I pulled for the Bargain Highway from Placer AI. But I can't pull it I don't have access to it on a daily basis that I can pull for every event that we have in Benton County. Anything else I can help you with or answer in any way? Thank you.
Thank you, Lori. Okay, are there any questions before we vote? Okay, your board's open for voting.
She answered, yeah, thank you.
Okay.
official, I think the city ought to pay for
Any of us should change your vote? Motion carries.
it.
Number 24 is Resolution 17. It's by Sheriff Christopher to appropriate and budget funds in the amount of $18,150 to expenditure line item for purchasing ballistic shields for school resource officers. I have a motion by Price and a second by Melton. Any questions about the shields?
Just a transfer within your budget. It's in the SRO budget. With no new money.
It has to be appropriated from the general fund, but their money was placed in the general fund for the SRO.
Okay, there are no more questions, so everyone please vote.
Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carries, 16 yes.
Number 25 is Resolution 18. It's a resolution by the mayor to appropriate and budget funds in the amount of $12,000 to appropriate expenditure line to help fund ballpark improvements at the Benton County Sports Complex. A motion by Arnold and a second by Burke. Questions? Okay. So there are none. Everyone please vote.
Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carries, 16 yes.
Number 26 is Resolution 19. It's a resolution by the Benton County Budget Committee to modify the distribution of the Victims Assistance Fee. I have a motion by Melton and a second by Burke. Any questions? Mr. Arnold?
Modified.
They're dividing it between route. Yeah.
Divided 50-50.
It was all
50-50.
going to route. Now we're going to split it 50-50 with Carl Perkins Center and route.
Yeah. I couldn't think of Carl Perkins Center. Okay, everyone please vote.
Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carries, 16 yes.
Okay, number 27 is Resolution 20. It's a resolution by Mayor Ward to budget funds received from the airport grants to a proper line item for expenditure. A motion by Arnold. I need a second, please. Second by Melton. Any questions about this resolution?
Yeah. I mean, is it two or three grants put together or something? Is that for the building work that we're doing, the state's paying for, or what is that?
Ms. Haslam, would you come forward, please, to answer his question? The next three are yours, so I guess you might as well come on.
Yes. This is like what we have done in the past where we receive the grant funds in from the state and then we put them into expenditures line to be able to pay those bills.
I would like to say one thing while you're talking, if you don't mind. So the airport, the Board of Aeronautics has changed the way they do their grants. Normally, we have to appropriate, if the project's $300,000 or $500,000, we have to appropriate it at budget time and pay it out up front, and then we'll receive our money back at the end. The Board of Aeronautics has solved the problem with that, and they're changed their structure to pay when paid. So they do the work, we receive this money after the work's done, and then pay the contractor. So it's working out a whole lot better, but that's why you're seeing these on the airport ones are a little different than the ones on the health department and the other projects that we've done. I just wanted to clarify that, I'm sorry.
Is that part of that 700 that we talked about last night?
If we will see this continue on through all of our grants in the future. We will go through this same process because I believe I mentioned this either last month or the month before. I receive the invoices, I hold those invoices, I submit them to the state. I hold on to that until that check comes into Ms. Jean. When that check comes into Ms. Jean, I take her the invoice, and then you all see that check reflected in a resolution. And then we can put that money into an expenditures account to be able to pay that invoice. That way, none of that money comes out of the county pocket.
Yeah, I think that you explained about it last commission meeting that we're gonna get 700 here and 500 there, but it's only actually gonna cost the taxpayers about 20 grand, somewhere along in there.
Right, yes.
It's a good deal.
It is a very good deal. I mentioned about 3 or 4 meetings ago, we're in a very unique time right now, because in the past, the county has paid 5% on all projects, unless they were state projects, like the runway was, where the state picked up the entire $801,000. The federal projects like the terminal restoration and our projects moving forward for this period of time will be at a 2.5% local share. So we're at a very unique window of time to get improvements made to our airport.
You know, we talked about that, and you put the diagrams up on what the airport was going to look like and things of that nature. Well, we've got that 15 feet coming off there for like an outside sitting area and things of that nature.
We do.
Is that going to hurt us on as that extra 50, taking up that 15 feet on that not runway, but on that? Is it going to hurt us?
No, that dimension was taken into consideration when that design was put into effect. All of that has to be FAA approved. All of that has to be approved before we're allowed to move forward with that project.
Yeah, I just knew it was smoothing it out.
It is, yes. Where most airports are taking that front portion of that terminal off, and they're putting a whole new facility on the front of that building, where we are not. We're just making use of the building we have, and then added that 16 feet, which, again, like I said, was approved by FAA and TDOT, of course. So there's no issues with that.
Any other questions? Okay, I see none, so everyone please vote. Yes.
Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carried 16 yes.
Number 28 is Resolution 21. It's a resolution by the mayor to appropriate and budget funds in the amount of $50,000 to the airport's budget to cover a shortfall in aviation fuel. I need a motion and a second. Bring this to the floor. Okay, I have a motion by Arnold and a second by Douglas. Floor is open for questions or.
Mr. Fowler?
Yeah. I pulled a report, I don't know, first of the month here when I was at the mayor's office from Jean. And it actually says right here that you already have $40,000 that's funds available from that. But I understand by talking to Mr. Murphy, you may not have had a fuel thing go through, or a fuel invoice.
So he's ready.
They give them the front table. They didn't get one.
Well, they didn't pass that to staff. They got a whole staff level. So earlier, Mr. mentioned $39,000. So
I know you're, sound like you're a little under the weather.
I'm doing the best I can. So earlier, Commissioner Murphy mentioned $39,000. So if you'll look at the fuel invoice totals, you all approved $60,000 for my budget, July 14th. You see that load total, $18,815. November 24th load total, $20,076. I have a load incoming this week. That's an estimated total. I won't give actual total until I actually see that invoice. So that's a total of $52,732 spent on fuel. If you look up above those three invoice totals, you see what my current inventory that I have on site is valued at. That value is $26,840 worth of fuel I'm still sitting on. However, those are not high quantities when it comes to trying to make it to the next commission meeting. That's very risky. The last thing I want to do is run out of fuel. I owe it to my pilots. I've worked extremely hard over the last 2.5 years to make our airport, for the first time ever, a reliable fuel stop. I cannot run out of fuel. I owe that to my tenants, and I owe it to my dedicated fuel stops that I've worked tremendously hard to bring into our airport, not counting our corporate traffic that flies in with us on a regular basis, which is Quick Trip, Apex Bank, Thompson Machinery, Michigan Veneer, and so on. Those people expect me to be able to fuel their aircraft when they land with us. If you look down at the bottom, that shows my trustee deposits for a total of $59,914.46 that has went back into the trustee's office as of this fiscal year.
Ms. Haslam, the information you sent me is not as updated, but it was $52,000, $52,443 in fuel sales, but fuel deposits received by the trustee were $48,395. What are the differences there?
They will always differ, because if you come in on the 27th and you fuel your jet with 600 gallons of fuel, that fuel deposit will take a few days to hit. So it might not get in that month that you fueled because it has to go through processing. So it may show up if you.
Credit card process.
Correct. So if that's processed in December, it won't show up until the January deposits. And that could happen on a number of fuel transactions of any given week. So those numbers will never match, and that's been frustrating for Beverly and I, to try to make sure that she and I are on the same page when those numbers come in.
And I'm going to disagree with you about these folks that fly in where they expect you to fuel their airplanes, because I don't think the taxpayers of Benton County have any obligation to do anything with regards to that. And on the report that you gave me, you're averaging about 670 gallons of AV fuel a month. You have 824 on hand, which is like, if we don't buy it, and you've got a load coming already, but if we don't buy it tomorrow, you're gonna be out of business.
I have a floating pickup. I can't pump off all of those 824 gallons. Even though I have them in the inventory, I have a floating pickup. So 824 are not pumpable.
Not pumpable. Like in the floating in the bottom of it?
No, it's not floating in the bottom of it. It's on a pole inside the tank, and that pickup is floating in there. I can only pump down to around 700 gallons. That's why I ordered fuel. I don't order till I need fuel.
So we've got 700 gallons of fuel that's unused.
That's correct.
Yes, we always have.
That's the way it is with the above ground tanks. You can't pump down to the very bottom. So you always are gonna have 700 gallons in there that you can't pump. But it stays fresh because you put new fuel in on top.
That's right. It recirculates.
Yeah.
Every airport that has above ground tanks is the same way.
How do we factor in the rental of that $1,000 a month fuel tanker? I mean, do we do the multiplier on that? Add that in for what we're supposedly making on the 80 cents, or how does that work?
Well, the 80 cents is not new. That is what has been in place at our airport. This airport board did not come up with that figure. The mayor did not come up with that figure. That is throughout the books at the airport. That is not new. That has been the standard. That has been the standard back when I hangered at Carroll County. They had an 80-cent markup. That has just been the standard in general aviation for our area.
I'm just saying, you know, if we're making 80 cents and we take out for the tanker that we've got also, which is $1,000 rental, what's that put us down to making a gallon on it or something? I mean, it's got to affect it.
Well, that's going to depend upon your month, and that profit is going to be calculated by the month, the gallons on average that you sell per month. So I'll give you an example. Fiscal year 23, prior to my appointment, we sold 2,100 gallons of jet. The first year of my appointment, I installed a new jet pump in September because we didn't have one when I came. We sold 9,136 gallons. Last year, I sold 28,070 gallons. So fiscal year 24, the first year I was there, was a 327% increase in jet fuel sales prior to my appointment. And last year was a 207% increase over the first year I was there. And we're even considering the 4 weeks of closure, this fiscal year, we're still moving in a great direction.
Well, we're moving in a great direction on how many gallons of fuel we've sold, but what is the profit that we made?
Well, it's the same profit that has been mentioned in this meeting multiple times. There's an 80-cent markup. And as other commissioners have mentioned, there is overhead that goes with that, as with every small business.
Yes. But also, the average sale, one of the invoices you sent me, the last invoices for Jet A was in November. It totaled out to be the cost at $2.86 a gallon, and we added 80 cents to that for $3.66.
We did.
But when we extrapolate the numbers out in those November, we sold our fuel for an average of $3.50 a gallon. Because if you take your total amount of sales and your total amount of gallons you sold, that's what it is.
Well, it's going to be a mixture of 353 and 366.
Well, how could that be when it's supposed to be 388 or 366?
It's not going to be a flat 366 in the month of November because I bought fuel in November. So the majority of November was sold at the previous price.
Okay.
Because I didn't buy fuel to November the 24th. So only a small fraction of November was at the 366. You cannot use that number but for those few days.
Your cost fluctuates on it.
Absolutely.
Okay, I
Yes,
can
it
go
does.
on with that.
Okay.
What I don't understand though is how is it that we're selling fuel for $3.66 a gallon, and at Huntington, which seems to be our closest competitor, it's $3.89 a gallon.
But look, well, again, I follow the same protocol that was in place when I came to the airport, but look at their AV versus our AV. How do they sell that fuel for their price and look at our price?
Well, that 80 cents has been in place for long before you got there.
I don't know how long, yes.
Have you ever thought about increasing it?
I have. But we have to stay competitive as well.
Well, we're pretty daggone competitive at 366 when
I would think that would be for the board and the mayor to take a look at then.
Well, now, how long have you been the airport director?
2.5 years.
And you haven't looked at it?
I have looked at it, but also there's a value to staying competitive. And again, the 80 cents markup, there's a quantity there that we're selling. 80 cents has been sufficient profit in the airport for all these years, but for some reason today it's not.
So, sufficient profit would be when this county invests $40,000 the return on their investment is less than 2,000.
Well, I don't see how you figure that when I put 59,914 back in the trustee's office and I'm still sitting on $26,840 worth of fuel.
And a whole bunch of that fuel you can't get.
Well, that's the same 800 gallons that was in that tank when I got there.
See, I'm going on information that you gave me on December 1st, I think,
I believe that was the 10th.
the 10th, but there was no information about, December sales. You sold 883 gallons of Jet A through 12/9. But in my way of looking at it, I don't know anything about airplanes. Obviously, don't know anything about jet fuel. Don't know much about running the gas station. But what I do know about is dollars. And if I take this $50,000 that you're asking the county to put back into fuel, and I just go put that in a money market account, I could expect to get probably 3% with no risk. Every bit of that money gets pumped out. There's nothing in a pipe or anything that's lost. This is not a good deal for the county. And county taxpayers should not be subsidizing airport fuel. Now, the mayor made a good point that gas stations forever have always operated on a margin of about 3 pennies per gallon of gas. Well, let me ask you this. What else do you sell at the airport?
I leased a few of our hangars.
Okay, but what do you sell anything retail?
No.
Cokes, candy bars? They do at gas stations, so it's not fair.
I am an AI language model, not a retail.
And I'm sorry, I think you've done a great job of increasing fuel sales, and you've done a great job of improving our airport. But we would be better off not selling gas out there. We would be making money by not selling gasoline at the airport.
That would really help us with recruiting industry. I'll say that. I'm being sarcastic. You know, you got to have an airport, and that's why the Board of Aeronautics in the state of Tennessee.
Well, now, we don't have to have an airport.
No, but I'm saying you do if you want industry. And that's why the state of Tennessee and the Board of Aeronautics put so much money into these airports for our counties. That's not our taxpayer money. You know, you're talking about our taxpayer money. How much return do we get on what we put in the mayor's office or the sheriff's office or any other office? How much return do you get on that?
Well,
You know what I'm saying?
well, the law says we have to have a sheriff and a jail.
But you know what I'm saying.
Well, I do.
The airport's not just for recreational use. It's for industry, and we have industries here that use that, and we're trying. I hope we're trying. It's my goal. I hope you're all with me on getting more industry in here. And if you don't have a good working airport, you're not going to get industry.
So, would it be fair to say that if we're trying to recruit an industry and they're flying here, they need gas, fuel, jet fuel, whatever, they're gonna pay whatever the price, whatever the market barrel, won't they? We are not charging enough. $3.66 is not enough. 80 cents is not enough. And nobody is accounting for the $1,000 a month that we're paying for a fuel truck. That's the big thing in there. That's what's costing you money. And I guess there's no other way to pump it out of the ground or whatever. But it needs to be looked at. And I think this commission ought to seriously think about, I think the mayor's office ought to think about looking at least getting us in line with $1.50 a gallon. I mean, we've been at 80 cents. They're gonna put us out of business. We might sell less of it. Every business I've ever been associated with, they never come in and says, "Hey Jeff, how many of those 2x4 markers did you sell at the cemetery?" They don't care how many you sold. They want to know how much money you make.
Is that not a wash? So if you're selling for 80 cents and you mark it up $1.60 and you only sell half of what you were selling, is that not a wash?
That is completely a wash.
It's a wash.
Makes no sense.
Well, it doesn't make
It's a
any,
wash.
it doesn't make any sense for my people to be saying to pay for somebody to put fuel in their airplane. And we're losing money.
Could you explain to me why you're saying we're losing money and it's costing the taxpayers when we're making a profit? How can you keep saying that we're losing money and it's costing your constituents when we're making money on every gallon that we sell?
Okay. Miss Rita, how much do you have a maintenance worker out there?
I do.
And he fuels the airplanes?
That's one of the many things he does.
What percentage of his time would you say he spends fueling airplanes?
That varies. That varies on a day-to-day. One moment. I've got some data for you on that.
Would 10% of his time be accurate, 15%?
I'm not gonna put a number on that because if I do,
If you do, I'm gonna show you losing money.
okay, so, for fiscal year 25, I had a, operations counter put in at the airport. It was not put in till late November. It tracks all aircraft with ADS-B out. And what that is it's a system that automatically broadcasts in real time positions and altitudes and all of aircraft. Not all aircraft have it. Corporate aircraft turns it off. So from December 1st through the end of the fiscal year, we had 1,197 operations at our airport. That is landings and takeoffs only. And so far this fiscal year, being closed a month, we have had 883 landings and takeoffs. So that gives you an idea of the traffic that's coming through there. Not every aircraft needs fuel. Not every aircraft is corporate, obviously, but that is traffic into our airport, and that is helping us build this reputation. No one can sit here and say they've built a small business in as small as 2 years. Okay, this is going to be a growing thing. I'm trying to build something here, and you're acting like that I've reached the peak. And I'm still racing to make us bigger and better than we've been. And I'm showing that in my numbers.
Okay.
And you're trying to pull the rug out from underneath me.
Well, I hope you don't feel like that.
I do, because I cannot build our airport to its fullest potential without a fuel truck. Because the reason we have a fuel truck is because I got call after call after call. Do you have a fuel truck? They didn't call and say, do you have a single point? Because I know that's where you like to go to.
You know,
I know that, where you like to go with that.
I like to see what a lot of, which I've called around, you talk about a fuel truck, we could do away with that if you had your tractor. We've got new tractors now, that to buy that beam pole that is hooked to the front, pull them around, let them fuel up, and then take them back to the runway on a tow service.
But would I have a Hawker 900 come in, Commissioner Fowler? I can't hook to that.
To be honest with you, I've talked to a lot of big planes about what we have at our airport, and there's some pretty big ones. But you know, what I want to talk to you about is I'm gonna go back to right now. It says your funds available are $40,000. You've covered the 18,000 the 20 of November the 7th, and you're expecting the 13,840. But I mean, it says here through the Benton County Mayor's statement of expenditures for gasoline, it says it was $40,483.88 in money right now. And you've not run this one through. I thought you might have said you had an invoice that run through, but this is just an estimate total of $13,840.
It is.
On that right there. So is that money still in there, that $40,000?
Well, I've spent 38. So the November 24th invoice.
This is a 12-1. It says you have $40,000. Now I've talked to Beverly and I pulled that report. I see everything that you've got here on your report except for the 10,000, and that could have come in December because I pulled it on 12/8.
Yeah, it did. I don't know what date it came in, but it came in late August.
You're gonna have an invoice for $20,076. That'll come out of there.
No, it's already come out. I mean, this is November.
That's okay.
It's okay.
Would it be fair to ask the airport board to take a look at the possibility of increasing the profit or the markup on the fuel? Just to take a look at it and see what they think and move in some direction, because we're not getting anywhere here.
No, we're not.
This discussion, but that seems to be where our sticking point is the amount of profit that's being made. And if the airport board could take a look at that, they might decide that they want to increase that. So I would like to ask you if you would bring that to the board and let them take a look at it, because we're not getting any discussion.
Well, again, like I pointed out earlier, at some point you get to a wash, because when you cut sales in half, you can double the profit if you want. But if you cut the sales in half, you've accomplished nothing, and you've lessened the traffic and the industry people that may stop off and look at our county. So, you know, but yes, I'll put it on the agenda.
But would it be, you're saying there's just not enough room to use a toll system?
No, we do tow. But the problem is, we're getting the size aircraft in here that we can't tow, or 55-foot wingspans. With our tractor, it's not safe to tow.
Right, and that would make sense, because a lot of these jets, I know we got a lot of corporates here, but a lot of them are just like me going, if I want to take a road trip, I'm looking for the most reasonable fuel.
Of course.
I'm gonna look at it.
Of course.
And I'm gonna stop in and grab that.
Of course,
Get out,
and they
especially when
call.
jets burn so much fuel.
They do. They call and schedule. I know they're coming.
You may never see them again. They just may.
Well, that's not happening to us, because that's why I'm saying I'm building a dedicated fuel stop group of people that are stopping off with us repeatedly.
May I say one more thing?
I've Googled Genesee County audits, and I've got all 95 counties. 12 counties have an audit that's complete. We're just days away from having our 2025 audit complete. It was completed January the 17th last year. The year before was late December. These numbers will tell us what we spent for fuel. These numbers will show us what we sold the fuel for. We're going to have them in just a few days. I'm going by memory. I can't look at this audit on my telephone and go to fuel cost, fuel dollars earned, so, because it's 230-something pages long. But I remember 2024 budget year that fuel sold exceeded fuel bought. I think it was around $12,000 to $13,000. That's not enough money to pay for the labor that I heard some of y'all mention. It will pay for the tanker. I'm going to back this resolution, and I'm going to ask the voices of challenge. You have Frida's attention. You have the board over the airport's attention. You have the mayor's attention. They're going to study everything that you said. They're going to study the cost and the charge on these dollars. And I'll ask y'all to reconsider, if you're considering not voting for this resolution, and support this resolution. I apologize for stumbling through my words. I'm going to be prepared to say anything tonight. I'm going to have a seat.
Okay, we're going.
I want to say one thing. I was just wanting to say, I know that everybody's real involved in the budget process, and that takes months to do, and everybody for years, we've done it ever since I've been involved, for 20 or 30 years. We've always put enough money in there for fuel just to get through part of the year. We all know we've got to come back and put more in after it's deposited. She's deposited $59,000 in there in just half the fiscal year. We need to vote on some form of money here tonight, because she's already ordered, and all of that money is already spent that's in that budget. We have an agreement with them that we'll put money in there just so we don't have to raise taxes. We only put a portion in at a time, but that money's already been deposited. We really need to put some in there, even if you amend this to a somewhat lower amount. We need to be able to continue to operate, and that's the way it's been an agreement for how many years, Phil? As long as I can remember. What this will push is, if we don't do it and it shuts us down, then at budget time, we'll just have to start putting enough in there to cover the whole year, which is just raise people's taxes 2 or 3 cents to be able to do that. The budget committee is just trying to be fiscally responsible and help the taxpayers out, is the reason we do it this way. But if it's an issue, we may have to change that going forward. But I do urge y'all to vote to put money in this account, because that's the way we've had it set up for years.
So is there 40,000 still left in there or not?
If she has paid the November 24th invoice, there is not, because if that's the case, $38,817 have come out of that amount. Have come out of the 60, I'm sorry.
38,000.
Because I've spent $20,076. And then again, like I said, I'll have that third invoice later this week.
Well, that 18,815 was back in July, so it should have done.
Commissioner Lashley, you haven't spoke on this. Are you still wanting to speak?
From what I hear, after Commissioner, Murphy gave us that information, the profit margin needs to be looked at. We can't be a loss leader at an airport because we don't have a convenience store set up to make sales otherwise, like a gas store or something where we get, traffic from, cheap fuel sales. And it will bring more, planes to our location to sell fuel, but if the margin is not enough to cover that, I'm fine with just breaking even.
And that's what most GA airports do.
But we have to show that we break even after the encumbrances and taxes and cost of selling the fuel is figured into the cost per gallon, the raw wholesale cost. So that just, needs to be looked at and solidified as what is a good profit margin for whatever the price is. Because we know we're going to have offsets for the cost of it. So if they're selling it to us for $3.50 or $4 or $4.50, we know how much we have to make over that to offset the cost.
Exactly.
So we just want, as a body, to make sure that we're not losing money. And that's where Mr. Murphy's coming from.
Well,
because we may not be calculating everything. It just seems like, as a commissioner, I see these outgoes, these expenditures all the time. And I asked you about a year or two ago, it'd be really good if we could see those deposits. That would make us feel better about the outgoing money when we know we have some of it being returned.
Well,
so that's good to see as far as when your information here. So.
Well, that's part of the reason for you guys getting the minutes. I mean, that's why the minutes are sent to you all, is so that you see what fuel sales are, the revenue that's generated.
I just think there needs to be some attention, as Roger said. Let's look at that and make sure our margin's set correctly to cover our costs. Not just the fuel cost, raw data, but the cost to handle it, fuel, everything that goes into it.
Okay.
So that just needs
Commissioner
to be looked
Furr, did you get the emails that I sent out the other day? Oh, okay. Commissioner Furr, are you still?
Oh, yes. Of course, everybody knows you can't sell it for the same price you get for it. You gotta figure overhead and expense something out. A fuel truck, everything that touches it or has anything involved with it to have a profit on your expenses. And the next question is, do you have many planes that land just to fuel up?
That's the majority of them.
Your jets, you have many of them to land and fill up and leave?
Yeah, they're called quick turns. Yeah. Commissioner Arnold.
Well, I've understood this, and I'm sure I missed quite a bit of this when everybody's talking, but I think Commissioner Murphy said that Henry County, Carroll County, about $3.80 worth $3.60. Okay, so we're 20 cents difference. So you drive up and down the gas stations out there and you're 5, 10, 15 cents difference. But again, they got Coca-Cola candy bars. So if we look at our profit margin and we stay 10 cents under our nearest competitor, we can still maybe increase our profit margin a little bit. But folks, this is a government body. I ain't never seen a government body make money with that. I may be wrong, but I mean, some of this ain't going to be a break-even situation, and it helps bring businesses to our county. And these companies here, I know the commission years ago when we started extending the runway, we could get bigger planes and businesses in it. If you let them go out here and land in Henry County, they're out here looking for a place to put a plant or something, they may not even decide to land in our little county. They go over and land in Henry County or McNairy County or Madison County or Carroll County, where they're got bigger industrial parks. I said, I'm not Commissioner Lashley. We break even, I'm happy. We got a good airport. I don't know if I'd like to tie on a tractor to a big $500 million plane or whatever it is and drag them around. I'd rather truck like there and hook on to them.
I mean, I think you gotta have the services in order to get a plane. We just look at the margin, we need to stay 10 cents under our nearest competitor. Let's see where that grows and let that go from there. I think you're doing an excellent job at the airport. I don't go out there that much. You know, you've gotta have an airport and you need business instead of coming into your county. I know a lot of people don't understand that. It was the hardest thing for me learning college in Government County, because they don't do it like Mr. Murphy does on our regular business. If we buy a product and sell it on a certain amount of markup, and lose one another. We just need to kind of look at it, stay a little under our nearest competitor maybe, and keep doing the great job that they're doing.
When you talk about
Commissioner
that,
Price, Commissioner Price, you're recognized.
Thank you. Somebody needs to help me understand something. So, have we ordered fuel on the presumption that this resolution is going to pass? Do we need
No,
this
we've
money
not.
for that? Or-
No, we've not.
Okay.
That is for me to make sure that I don't run out of fuel before the next commission meeting.
Thank you.
I do not spend, funds that I don't have. That's okay, that's okay.
One last thing. I commend you. I think that you're doing a good job.
Thank you.
We disagree on the business aspect of it. I can support and will vote for this resolution because Rocky asked me to. But politics is give a little, give a little. I'm gonna ask the mayor to add this one more thing to his already overflowing plate, to look at it and let us know, are we selling our fuel to the right? I would trust it.
I agree 100%. I don't think you fully understand how many hours I spend about the airport, figuring the fuel, figuring everything, every aspect of it. It's not something that I take lightly. The board out there and the mayor, I'm the sponsor of the airport by law. And we are the ones that set the price. The board, and I'm the one that signs the thing to set the price. It's always been 80 cents a gallon. It's been 80 cents a gallon since I took over. I used to fly with Chick White and Don Jordan and all these guys back in the 80s and 90s. It was 80 cents a gallon then. I thought it was ridiculous because, like I said, I had a gas station. I was making 3 cents, and I had to go out there and pay $3.50 when it was 99 cents at my gas station. I just thought that was absolutely ridiculous. But I think Rita's doing an absolutely amazing job. We've got a wonderful airport board. We stay hours out there every month making sure this stuff's right, but I will take your advice, I will take the board's advice, and we'll delve deeper into it. And if there's something that we can do to bring in more money with that, I agree with Mr. Arnold and Mr. Lashley. I personally don't care if we break even, but let me ask you how far we were from breaking even 3 years ago when we were selling 2,000 gallons of fuel a month and we still had the exact same overhead other than the $1,000 truck. We have come so far in 3 years that it's phenomenal. And I'm so excited about it that I can't even comprehend why we're having this conversation tonight. I'm just being honest with you, but I will take your advice. We'll go as far as we can with it, and we'll report back to y'all next month, if not the following month.
Okay, we've been on this long enough. We could probably talk another hour, I'm sure. But we're going to move on and we're going to vote on this for tonight. So we had a motion by Arnold and a second by Douglas. So after all the discussion, it's time to vote whether you're going to support it or not.
I'll vote because Rocky told me to.
one more time.
You want me to change your vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Number 29 is Resolution 22.
Are you present?
Phil, was there anything about tabling this next resolution that you remember?
Payment on 22?
Mm-hmm.
I don't think so.
Right that I know of.
Okay. Resolution 22, we have a motion by Arnold and Milton. For the airport, it's to budget funds in the amount of $50,000 to the airport's budget. It's for, the way I understand this is for parks. Capital improvement money, it's already in the budget. We just have to transfer the money out to pay the contractors. Commissioner Price.
Question, I didn't hear what it was for, or it's not noted in this resolution, or can we amend to include it?
The site development, I believe, is where, they're having a, water issue, they're having to fix, and the, other equipment is, there is a, pump that is obsolete, and they cannot get, parts for it anymore, they're having to replace it.
Don't that fall under the maintenance grants we've been using?
No, they're replacing this capital, not my, it's on a maintenance issue. Site development is easy, fixing, taking care of a water issue. And they're doing, remember, they're doing a whole lot of remodeling.
Yeah, I know, but I thought we had a maintenance grant that rotated every 4 years.
We do have a maintenance grant, but this is not,
This is capital.
it could be used from the maintenance grant, but it needs to be used from here.
Maintenance
I mean,
grant,
exactly
maintenance
what-
grant would be in the other, fund, it would not.
It's a different fund.
It's in your operating, fund, it's
Well,
not
if
in your
it's site
capital.
development, can't we just pay them when they get done doing the work? Like you got a contractor, site development, I mean, is that not?
Okay, and go ahead and finish your discussion there.
I don't see any reason why you would not go ahead and put the site development to do it.
Anyone else want to say anything about this resolution? Okay, then let's vote on it, please.
You want to wait to change your vote? Motion to 15 yes, 1 no.
Number 30 is our appointing of notaries. We have 3. Rhonda Skates. We actually have 2. Rhonda Skates and Charles Cooper Jr. Any motion? Have one by Melton and Arnold. All in favor of the notaries? Say aye. Anyone opposed?
You think we need a background check on that one?
Number 31 is any other business?
Yes. Had an opportunity to get a hold of Jeff Beasley earlier, and it has changed. The commissioners, you will have to pick your papers up, or anybody that's in Facebook or whatever, you pick them up on the 22nd within that time frame, and you have them back by February the 19th at noon. They put it all together as one thing. So again, I reiterate, big word for me. If you're looking to do this job up here and somebody ain't doing you right for your district or whatever, this is your time to do it. I won't, and like I said, I may be cutting my own throat, but you've got starting December the 22nd, open a business to February the 19th to get with the people in your district, get you 25 to 30 signatures, make sure that they are registered voters. And if you want to make changes as a community, you're divided up into what, 6 districts. And, you know, you can voice your opinion through who you vote for.
Okay, Mr.
Thank
Fowler,
you.
we're going to move on. Thank you.
Well, but is that not important, Roseanne?
Well, you said that.
No,
You
really,
said that
I know,
earlier.
but then you told me it wasn't.
Yeah.
So now you're telling me, I'm telling you
4 years
again.
ago, he had people pick up their papers in December and they
Yeah, I
had
know.
them signed and they
it's-
took them back and they had to throw them away because they
Yeah,
had.
see, and that's why as a commissioner, you gotta get out and hustle that and find out what your
I'll call
job
and
is.
find out for myself.
There you go. Well, I can show you the text. I can share it with you. But anyways, I yield the
We're
floor.
going to
Have at it.
move on to, we've got 2
Motion for us to allow for 23 and 24 resolutions.
Thank you, Commissioner Bain. That's what I was fixing to ask for. We need a second. Who's the second? Melton? To suspend the
Anybody
rules.
second it?
Yeah.
Move my second, suspension of the rules.
Okay, you're voting to suspend the rules?
What's the resolution?
Resolution 23 and 24,
What are they?
they did.
Oh.
I mean, they were brought before the committee. Okay. 23 was at the budget committee meeting. It's ARPA money, it's not any new money. Okay. And 24 was brought to the budget, the night that the budget committee met.
What are they for though? ARCA money, what are they for? I don't have one. I mean, it's not in my packet.
The other one is,
Thank you.
It's ARPA money that we have, and we're putting it in the right line items to pay out the people who did the work and for the equipment.
So the number 23 is Tech Goes Home. It was a $50,000 grant that I got for our Senior Citizen Center. It was where they could get free computers and training on how to use their computers and learn how to do their bills on the internet and all that. We have used $42,822.14 of that. So we have to appropriate it and pay the proper people that bought the computers and did the training. So it's just a grant that we've received, and we need to pay the people who have done the work.
Any other questions? There are none, so please vote.
Who did that?
Yeah, well, we are voting on suspending the rules.
Mr. President? Yes. Suspend the rules, yes. Thank you.
Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carries to suspend the rules 16.
Okay, now let's vote on the resolution, on the resolution. I'm sorry. I'm getting sleepy. Resolution number 23. Any questions? There are none, please vote.
Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Okay, resolution 24 is by the sheriff. It's to appropriate and budget monies in the amount of $6,530 to fund the purchase of replacement locks in the jail. This did come in and the budget committee did look at it. Sheriff, you want to explain? But the old locks are not compatible with the new parts.
From the original jail over there before we built the new part to it. So they're operable.
Any questions about the locks? Okay, there are none, so please vote.
Anyone wish to change your vote? Motion carries 16 yes.
Okay, any other business? Does anybody have anything to say before I have something to say? Sheriff?
Yes, ma'am. I wasn't at the last meeting, but I was told concerning the block and what we were supposed to buy county attorney. I have spoken with you for the contract. Like to
Okay.
A couple of things that I guess on review of the contract. One, I think the sheriff has been given what's called an order form. At the end of that order form, there's a web address given, and that's where you really go find the substance of the contract, just in case anybody else is wanting to go look at that. But it's, as contracts are, quite lengthy and tend to the side of what I would call an adhesion contract. Earlier, basically, we get our way, you pay us, and that's how it goes. But two things that I think the commission needs to be aware of, and the sheriff and I had talked about this, is that to look at in relation to whether or not you're going to agree to take on flock safety and their contract. And these are two places where I believe you could get them to make amendment to the contract. And first and foremost would be the retention period. and that's how long the data is actually retained. Their default is 30 days, and if you look in their documentation, they will say that it has a default roll-off date of 30 days, but that they will adjust that. Either way, if you wanted it to be retained longer, or if you wanted it to be retained shorter, shorter is probably the erring on the side of caution in relation to potential lawsuits or those kinds of things that were discussed in the last meeting. So, and that's something that can be decided, and then that would need to be negotiated with Flock, I suppose, as to what the retention period would be. I've seen the state of Vermont by law has passed that it would be 3 minutes is the retention period. That's as long as they allow it to be retained. That's the shortest retention period I've seen. And then, you know, I'm sure there's some, maybe even private industry that use this technology that maybe allow for longer periods of retention. The other thing is, and it kind of connects with the retention aspect of things, and that is that Flock Safety retains permission, I guess, or authority to do certain things with this data that's collected. Although it's called your data, the customer's data, Flock retains some ability to share that. And the way the contract reads is that, and I'll just read it to you, subject to and during the retention period, Flock may access, use, preserve, and or disclose the customer data to law enforcement authorities, government officials, and or third parties. If legally required to do so, or if Flock has a good faith belief that such access, use, preservation, or disclosure is reasonably necessary to comply with a legal process, enforce this agreement, or detect, prevent, or otherwise address security, privacy, fraud, or technical issues or emergency situations. So they write themselves a very broad license, is what I would call that, in how they could use your data. And that's technically the data that's been collected by their system, which was discussed last time, how they can put it to use. And they use some pretty vague language there when they start talking about third parties, when they talk about good faith. They get to decide what is good faith. So those are the two places that sort of caught my attention and narrowed my focus. And I would suggest that you apply your attention there as well and consider what you would want to do in relation to the retention period, and probably maybe considering limiting what you allow Flock to do with your data. So if there's any questions about any of that. It's a contract, otherwise, it's got the standard boilerplate kind of things, and the term, the first 12-month term, then it renews. When it renews for 24 months. And then there is what's called a non-appropriation clause, which is beneficial in that if the monies that are owed per the contract are not appropriated, then the contract terminates without any penalty or anything. So.
What I'd like to do is take that retention period, cut it back to 2 weeks, 30 days for requesting. Also, amend this contract to where it would read that just with all the information only be given to other law enforcement. That way it couldn't be shared out here anywhere else. That's what the Flock system is. It's what the law enforcement agent, and it only is what law enforcement puts into it is all that's in there. So it can't be shared with anything other than other law enforcement. Mr. King pointed out, I think that's the two things you went over with me that stands out, that there be any problem. And if we can get them to amend this whole cut it down from 30 days to 2 weeks, and then it goes away, that would give us time should there be any case come up that we make anything. We've got a couple of weeks to contact them and say we need this, we're going to need this data, micro cases, which is a good possibility that that's what a lot of them do. The rest of it is just, it won't be shared with anyone else other than law enforcement agencies, which is the only people that can put data in. I think that will fix all of the problems. I do want to clear the air again, the third time. This is not tracking anything other than what law enforcement puts in there. if you've done a crime, they suspect you've done a crime, missing person, whatever it might be, that law enforcement puts in, the agency somewhere else puts it in, that they're looking for this person for whatever reason, then it will track that only. It's not handing out speeding tickets, not seeing where you go, it's not giving you personal information. It's just what law enforcement agencies that have FLOC put into it, so the other law enforcement agencies that FLOC has can read it when it comes by the camera. That's all it is. And I think it would benefit us a lot. I've spoken to several others that have it, and they praise it all the time. As I told you before, the girl that was killed over here just across the line about 4 months ago, they caught him within 2 days because they seen the lady that got killed was at a rehab center in Murfreesboro. They had the FLOC cameras up there. So Henry County drove by the cameras a couple of times at the rehab center, was contacting her. She disappeared. They went back and looked to see you all been by the facility up there. Henry County tag showed up. And given the reading man's name, they had it until 2 days. So it's very beneficial to the citizens of this county. It will help law enforcement do their job so much quicker and so much more efficient. So I really wish y'all would consider this. This is something that other people have, and we can receive the data that anybody else has got it. I think if my numbers are correct, 2,600 cameras across the state of Tennessee. So if anybody we're looking for them, they're looking for them, that pass by those cameras, then we would be notified.
Can we do I'll check the city of George. They got 4 cameras for $12,000, and they only do a 1-year contract with them. And you're talking about 14. I'm sorry, we're getting no better deal than what they are, except for the live cameras. Is there any way that we might just like try it for a year or something of that nature? I mean, will we be able to see, or will you be able to see the Camden City cameras? Yeah. So, I mean, what you've been talking about is what, $44,000 for 3 years, $44,000 a year, correct? Could we do this 1 year, you reckon, and see how it works out? Just like, yeah, 42, could we do still up the city's doing just 1 year contract? Like I said, they took on 12 cameras. They're not put up yet, nothing. They're in, things will change. Most likely they're gonna get them in July.
If the money's not appropriated, the contract terminates anyway.
That's right.
So,
to speak to that question specifically, Mr. Fowler, that it is a 12-month contract. It has a 30-day termination, a written notice requirement of 30 days of notice that you would provide before that term. You can
do it this year.
First year. And then, but if it does renew, the last traffic currently, it would renew for a 2-year period, and that is something that's probably negotiable. I don't know how the sheriff wants to deal with that, or the county commission wants to deal with that, but I think it's subject to negotiation. The way it's drawn now is the first 12 months, and then you have opportunity to terminate, and then if it does renew, it's
4 months, so that we can terminate within 30 days if it don't sound like to be a
It's not bad at all. I just think with as many senior citizens as we have in our county, this is what Amber Alert. Anything, we've got silver alerts. You know, we have a lot in our county. We have a lot of search for all that. And I know we've recovered several times here over the years. For some reason, out of Texas, we still on I-40. They wind up coming through here. Got the benefit where they wind up coming through here. We've made a lot of loss. We've made a lot of loss.
Can we still get the same deal with them doing free installation that we missed out on last month?
That was what they were selling for, and I'm sure they're going to sell. In my opinion, they're going to sell them, they're still going to go with that. They're willing to do it one
So I
point.
mean, next month, if we decided to make them sponsor that resolution, we'll bring back up.
I haven't been in contact anymore, they just sent me a message and said, are we still looking to negotiate for that?
One question I had that came up was, is it sole source? It makes sense. You got, FLOC is the largest organization doing them that ties them all together. There are other organizations that do it, but they don't tie to FLOC. So is it a sole source or is it under a state contract?
It is connected to the state contract.
Okay, because that was a question that came up, and I was glad that's clear. Thank you.
Okay. Is that all?
I have one thing.
Okay.
I'd just like to wish everybody a Merry Christmas and a Happy New Year. Hope everybody has great holidays.
I have one thing, I need to announce, as Mark Florence mentioned about the school board seat in the 3rd district. You know, our condolences goes out to Tim's family. Tim was on the board for 37 years, but, we will have to replace his seat. It is the 3rd district, so anyone that's interested, come forth to the commission meeting in January, and it will introduce themselves, and we'll have to vote, replace that. And turn in your tablets to Scott, and I say Merry Christmas to everyone, and Happy New Year, and that's it. Might we have a motion to adjourn? Yeah, okay. All in favor, say aye. Aye. Anyone opposed?
I'll go to the